Good morning and welcome to the Killik and Co market update. There's been lots of focus on artificial intelligence this week following a statement from a US education company called Chegg saying it believes that artificial intelligence is currently harming its business. Chegg is a company that provides textbook rentals, online help with homework, and online tutoring, and it believes that at the moment, many students are turning to ChatGPT for help rather than using the services of Chegg. Until now, a lot of the discussion around artificial intelligence has focused on the impacts on society, for example, on which jobs could be made redundant by AI, and also on the positive benefits to companies, for example, which ones could benefit from either using or selling artificial intelligence products and services. This week was really the first time that a big company has publicly said, at the moment, we believe that artificial intelligence is actually harming our business. Here's the announcement from Chegg. We believe that generative AI and large language models are going to affect society and business both positively and negatively at a faster pace than people are used to. Education is already being impacted, and over time, we believe this will advantage Chegg. In the first part of the year, we saw no noticeable impact from ChatGPT on our new account growth, and we were meeting expectations on new sign-ups. However, since March, we saw a significant spike in student interest in ChatGPT, and we now believe it's having an impact on our new customer growth rate. And here's what happened to the share price. And this happened despite the fact that Chegg is working on its own AI solution in partnership with the company that owns ChatGPT. This week, we've also seen declines in the shares of companies that are also in the business of analyzing and summarizing information. So AI is going to be a big theme for the coming years, and we'll be focusing on it a lot over the coming months. We've recently talked about the failure of Silicon Valley Bank in the US, which was a regional bank and was therefore subject to lesser regulation than the global systemically important banks. Since the failure of Silicon Valley, many depositors have been withdrawing cash from First Republic Bank, which is another regional bank that is viewed as being quite similar in structure to Silicon Valley Bank. It was recently announced that over $100 billion worth of deposits had been withdrawn from First Republic, and that announcement caused the share price to collapse. Early this week, US regulators stepped in, they forced First Republic Bank to close, and they arranged for JPMorgan to pick up the pieces. All deposits have been protected, which is reassuring, but it does raise a question mark over the future of US regional banks. Here's a chart showing the performance of US regional banks in the pink versus JP Morgan in the green. You can see that the shares in the regional banks have continued to fall, whereas JP Morgan shares have been quite resilient. In fact, the shares rose on the news of the First Republic deal, as JP Morgan was thought to have picked up the pieces for a low price. More regulatory action regarding the regional banks is likely, so this is a space that we're watching very closely. And finally, the results of local elections across the UK are being counted today, and so far Labour has gained a lot of seats at the expense of the Conservatives. The next general election is not expected until 2025, but these local elections do give a good indication as to how the public is feeling at the moment. There's been limited market reaction to these elections so far. While the Labour Party has stated a number of missions, for example, to make Britain the fastest growing economy in the G7 and to make the country a clean energy superpower, there's been limited detail about how these things would be achieved. Back when Jeremy Corbyn was campaigning, he had some quite extreme plans that caused big movements in markets. For example, his plan to nationalise UK utility companies caused weakness in the shares of National Grid and SSE in the run-up to the 2019 election, as you can see here. The election was one of Labour's worst defeats in history, so it's likely to use a very different manifesto this time, but we'll be waiting for more detail on the party's plans and considering the potential impacts on markets. Next week, we've got results out from Airbnb, Electronic Arts, and Disney. That's it from us. Have a great coronation weekend, and we'll see you next Friday.